Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I am Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our experts and technical analyst NS Vidai, Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice and Mehul Kothari of IndiaNivesh join me on the show. Thank you to all of my guests for joining me. Before we start with the technical round with all our guests, let's go across to Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on Hero MotoCorp. Yash, good morning. What does the chart indicate?
Morning, Darshan. So a buy call coming on Hero MotoCorp, and we're using the proprietary fear and greed indicator. It uses the average true range for the purpose of calculating, and it oscillates on a zero basis line. So a positive value over here has given a positive signal coming in for Hero MotoCorp. That value is in the green now, which indicates that one can go long from these current levels. Also, if you take a look at the long-term charts, after 5 consecutive weeks of falling, the stock gave a positive breakout. Last week it was up 5%. Today also it is trading higher, and coincidentally the positive call that is coming in today's day of trade, that is very close to the mark where it first gave the positive call. So around 2800, that is when back in October end, we had the green signal coming in from fear and greed, and it went all the way up to 3400, and again close to those levels, 2800 or so, we are again seeing a positive signal coming in from fear and greed. So watch out for Hero MotoCorp on the upside.
Yeah, so yes, I think the correlation looks pretty, you can clearly see the correlation when it turned red. It fell in from almost 3200 right all the way to almost 2500, and then it managed to rally from that level all the way again back to 3300. So it seems like what's the average return that if you back calculated this, what's the average return that you could have gotten?
So Darshan, on a closing basis for the next 10 days, because it is a very sensitive indicator, one could watch out for returns of almost 3.5 to 4% in the short term. So from these current levels of 2,871, a 3.5% up move over the next 10 days.
Okay, many thanks for that, Yash. Vidai, what did you make of Hero? The rally did manage to come in post the auto sales numbers and the numbers. Will this continue?
Like, I believe it does have a very limited upside.
Okay.
29.11, 29.20 is where it can face lots of resistance, because there is 50 demo over there, and there is a major candle that where it gave a breakdown. So that will come into play. Rather, it should be a buy on dips around 2800, like with stop loss at 2790 probably should be enough.
Okay, so buy on dips, not buy at this level at this point. What about you, Raja? What's your view?
Yeah, there is a clear positive divergence which has been seen, and the weekly charts does project some further upside. But yes, I agree with NS that the upside is limited. So around 3000 is the caps on the upside. One should look to buy here and also on decline towards a target of 3000.
Okay, that's the view. So Mehul, what's your view on Hero MotoCorp?
I have a similar kind of view. As we can see on the weekly chart, there is a double bottom kind of formation.
Okay.
So this pattern can take the stock towards 3000, 3100 levels. So one can buy the stock, but at least on dips right now.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Hero MotoCorp. The Bloomberg proprietary fear and greed index does indicate it's a buy on Hero MotoCorp, but our guests do believe that no doubt the chart looks bullish, the upside looks limited. So a positional, once the counter comes down, buy on dips strategy is something that our guests are recommending. Let's start with the stocks. The first stock that we want to talk about, and that is that will come up on your screen, and that's NS Vidai. That's Tata Global Beverages. What's the view that's coming in, NS? Explain the chart.
Like, if you see, this is a very strong trend line and multiple supports, touch points on this trend line. So it is acting as a very strong resistance. Even today also, the same bottom was tested, and it has not gone below much. It has just dipped below and tested the previous low of yesterday and came back. Even though the results are not in line and they were not good, the stock has made sure that it does not go too deeply down. So that means there is lots of support in this area. This trend line is acting as a major support. Then it also looks like it's a parallel channel when you look at from the top. Okay, so and that is another thing. Then this another trend line that is coming. So probably we have an upside. First thing is up to that 205 area. So the risk is very low here. If you buy, you can buy with a stop loss at 174 and buy on dips up to 179. So today it went
this is
up
more
to
like a short-term trade that you're recommending.
Extreme short-term trade.
Why are there two trend lines? Can you explain why you've taken?
See, this is a parallel line. Okay, this is a parallel channel kind of top resistance line.
Okay.
And this is the within that fact, there is the stock has not been trading above this. Plus, if you check out, I think we have missed out on putting 50 DEMA here.
Okay.
So the stock has been unable to cross 50 DEMA very strongly.
Okay.
And that's the reason, it is trading below that. And this trend line also. So this will be acting as a first resistance.
How soon do you expect it to bounce back?
2 to 3 weeks probably.
2 to 3 weeks. So that's a positive call that's coming in on Tata Global. Thank you so much for that, NS. Raja, would you buy Tata Global at 186?
Actually, I would be a contra here. I would actually be initiating a short because my Ichimoku studies are clearly indicating that the momentum is to the downside.
Okay.
The MACD indicator is also not supporting this view. So I would be selling here and then rallies towards, say, in the region of 195 to 198 for a drop towards 170.
Okay.
So that's my view on Tata Global.
Okay, so it's a contrarian call that's coming in on Tata. Mehul, what's your view? What should you do?
See, I'm looking at the larger degree chart of Tata Global. The stock gave a breakout above 180 mark in the year 2017. That was a multi-year breakout, and it has perfectly retested those levels. So according to me, it's a positional buy, not for a short term. With a stop loss of around 170, if someone needs to hold that, this stock can even go to 200 or more levels on the higher side.
So I think it's 2:1 in terms of favor for Tata Global Beverages. That's the first stock. And obviously, I think NS Fidai's trade was more of a short-term bounce coming back to levels of 205 with a short stop loss on the same. So more like a short-term trade, not a positional. But Mehul does believe that it could be a positional trade on the counter. But let's move on to the second stock. Raja has a buy recommendation on Tech Mahindra this time around. One of the big gainers. It's the MACD chart. Raja, explain why are you bullish on Tech Mahindra?
Yeah, the IT space itself has been in a clear positive trend, and this stock, after consolidating for a while, has now clearly moved out of this consolidation. Plus, with good numbers coming in, they have added to the bullish momentum. You can see here that these small body candles which have been shown here, they have now given away. This is a weekly chart, and right now you can see that it's moved above these two moving averages. And right now you can see the strong long body candle, which is indicating that a lot of bulls are in play right now. Plus, I have taken the help of the MACD indicator here. You can see here the MACD indicator. You can see that there is a positive crossover out here, which signals that a positive momentum has once again entered into the stock. And with positive news flow coming into play, all this could put the stock on the bullish perspective.
Okay, so it's at 797 currently.
Right.
What's the target that you see and what's the stop loss?
Yeah, the target for the short-term players would be around 835. Further down, it could be 865.
Okay.
And since it has flagged up right at the open today, one could actually look at buying in the region of 730 to 750.
Okay.
And add on to those positions.
What's the stop loss at?
Stop loss below 700.
700. Is this more like a positional trade? And
yes.
You said for the short term, how soon can that come in?
Within the next 1 week.
Okay, so that's a quite bullish trade that's coming in. Is Tech Mahindra one of the strongest plays in the IT space? Is that something that you observe?
Tech Mahindra, NIT Tech, these are the two strong contenders.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Raja. What about you, Mehul? Would you buy a Tech Mahindra? What's your view?
Yes, obviously yes, for the short term it's a very good bet. I believe it can cross even 820 to 830 levels, the target which he mentioned. But the only concern, my concern is on the weekly chart, the RSI is showing strong negative divergence. So one needs to keep in mind that near 820, 830 levels, one should book their profits and get out of this stock, because there could be a heavy correction in this stock.
Okay,
sooner or later.
Explain what do you mean by high divergence on the RSI at that level. What do you mean? What for the viewers who don't understand, what does that mean?
Well, negative divergence means when the prices makes new high, but at the same time RSI doesn't make new high.
Okay.
So that is a sign of showing a negative divergence, that trend is not that strong, but the prices are moving higher. So that might not sustain at higher levels.
Okay, Raja, is that something that you're also seeing? It's a buy recommendation from you, but are you seeing resistance that would possibly
come in?
Yeah,
the overall momentum is still continuing, and I would consider it as a overbought condition only when it moves above the 70 level of the RSI. So right now on the weekly charts, it has not moved above 70 levels. So I still feel that there is more momentum in this.
Okay, what about you, NS? What's your view on Tech Mahindra?
Well, it's in a bullish this thing. If you see long-term charts, weekly chart, it is trying to give a breakout. Only problem is it needs to cross 830, as both have pointed out. 830 is the extreme short-term target, but above 840, rather it will gain more momentum. And stock could head for even, you can say 1100 also. But only problem right now in extreme short term, I would say wait for the stock to come down a bit from 830ish and buy on dips. because the whole pattern has taken almost 6 months to go out. It's been consolidating for almost 6 months, this stock, and finally it has broken out after 6 months. So maybe some momentum on upside, 5 to 6%, but other than that, we should buy on dips. It's a very good positional buy, I would believe.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. Or Tech Mahindra, more like a positional bet, and that's also Raja said, since the counter did manage to open up a gap up in trade, I think more of a buy on declines is something that's been spoken about. Now let's speak to Mehul. He has a chart, bullish chart on Page Industries. Mehul, you can come. Let's pull up the chart. Page Industries, obviously all the way from levels of 3,600, 30,000 has corrected all the way to 24,000. You believe the reversal is possible?
Well, this is a weekly chart of Page Industries. We can see after this drastic fall, the stock has made a hammer pattern, which is a bullish one. The hammer pattern is being made right at the 78.6% retracement level. Also, the 100-week SMA is here. So this is a quite bullish sign. So that's why we are positionally long in this stock. Along with that, if we see the weekly RSI, the RSI have stopped going lower and it's consolidating. So this indicates there is a possibility of bounce. Also, I would like to show the daily chart if you have, in the stock. See, on the daily chart, it has started making higher bottom. Okay, and there is a breakout over here. The next possible thing is, if we see this RSI, there was a range in this RSI, daily RSI, and suddenly it has broken out of this range and crossed 50 levels. Okay. So this is also a very strong sign for the stock to run up. So we believe that positionally it's a buy on dip stock with an upside target of around 27,500 with a stop loss of 22,300.
Explain that hammer that came in the early chart. What do you mean by hammer? There's a hammer at the
weekly chart. Can we?
Yeah, we will pull that up.
A hammer is a pattern, bullish pattern, which normally occurs at a support. It indicates that whenever there is a selling happen, the buyer absorbs that selling, and from the day's low or the week's low, the stock has closed at week's high. Okay. So it's a kind of bullish sign. Bullish in the sense it's more bullish because there are multiple supports over here. 78.6% support and this 100-week moving.
What's the start? What's the positional target? You said 27,000.
27,500.
If someone is taking, should they take a position right now, or should they buy on decline?
One can buy on decline near to 24,000 levels. The stop loss will be 22,300.
22,300. So positional buy. Thank you so much for that, Mehul. NS, would you go long on Page Industries?
Well, it is facing strong resistance around 50 DEMA right now. Okay. So, it needs to cross 24,600 to actually gain more momentum. Otherwise, I would say go short with 24,600 right now, and you can buy around 23,600 and 23,400 also.
Okay, that's the view. And what about you, Raja? What's the view?
Yeah, I would agree with Mehul that it has come to the support. But with not the momentum indicators not aiding a revival, I would stay away from Page Industries.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Page Industries. I think we're having a little confident view on Page Industries. Mehul, no doubt, has given a positional bet on Page Industries with a target price of 27,000. But the other guests are probably not too enthusiastic to start accumulating Page Industries at that level. So that's the first round that we spoke about. Let's move on to the second round. And this time around, starting with a call, it's a negative call on Escorts. Pull up the counter, NS, if you can come in and explain why you are negative on Escorts.
Well, again, this stock has jumped up from the parallel bottom channel, right? Channel's support line. Okay. And it has given a very strong move up to 50 DEMA. Around this area, it is not able to cross, and there are multiple resistances. If you see this multiple touch points here on this, top line, plus there is a sort of small channel within the channel. So the stock is unable to cross. And if you look at this whole pattern, it looks like a falling flag. Rather, I would be I'm looking at shorting around this line, or even here if it breaks, it has given a breakdown. But if it breaks below this, today's low,
today's low is 671.
Yeah, so if it goes below 670, then we have good opportunities here. It can go all the way to maybe 638. That is the bottom here in extreme short term. So it could be a 2 to 3 week trade. And here, if you pick up, then probably there could be a good upside.
So no, there are two strategies here. If someone is looking to take a trade here, should he short below to keep a selling stop loss at 670, or should he short at this level, probably, which is close to 700?
If it comes to this level, right now it is it's like forming a engulfing bear. So rather, if it breaks this, then there is a good opportunity. Otherwise, he can go short near to 690, 95.
So at this level, don't do anything.
Right now, don't do anything, but wait for, like, you be opportunistic, wait for the right level to come. Once the setup is in place, you can go short.
What's the stop loss if either of
it goes on the upside, the stop loss would be 701.
700?
Yeah, if it breaks below 6, let's say this today's low of 670, you said, right?
671.
So, yeah, 671. So you can keep a stop loss at around 640. You can say 82, and you can go short, and you can expect a good risk reward of 638 rupees.
Okay, so it's a negative call coming in Escorts. Thank you so much for that. Raja, Escorts, what's your view?
Yeah, Escort has rallied into a resistance and it is now coming down. But the current situation does not permit me to recommend a sell trade. It can be a sell opportunity only if it dips below 650.
Okay.
And that's when the momentum will also step in. So I would wait for this dip, levels of 650 to break down. Then only I'll be a seller.
Okay, Mehul, what's your view on Escorts?
I have a similar view. Actually, the thing is that the volatility is so high that it becomes difficult to short stocks like this. So I would wait for a confirmation. The confirmation to go short will come below 635 for me. So if it breaks 635, then a massive fall can come in this stock.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. I think NS has given two strategies, either short below the 670 level or short near close to 700 level. But the other two guys believe that, once only the counter starts breaking below 650 for Raja and 635 below for Mehul, that's the time you short. If it goes below 635, what are you expecting, Mehul?
580 to 550 levels.
Till that time you would not take any trade, and even if you won't take a trade below 650. Okay, that's the view on Escorts. Again, this time the next sell call comes in from Raja, and it's on United Spirits. What makes you bearish on United Spirits?
So the stock has been making lower highs. Okay, and after the recent rally, you can see here the weekly charts in is a continuous decline, and I've used a tool called as Pitchfork.
Okay.
Which is a channeling technique, and you can see here that there is continuous resistance faced at this upper end of the channel, and now the price is slowly declining. You can see here that I have used this trend line, which has acted as the resistance there. Yeah, it was resistance here.
Okay.
It acted as a support. Then again, this has been broken now. So last 2 weeks it is trading below this, and with the momentum loosening, and also some negative news flow stepping in. So all this could take the prices lower.
Okay, it's at 550 currently, 546 to be exact.
Correct.
Should they short at this level? Should they wait for
they should short at this level and also use rallies towards the 580 region to initiate, add on more shorts. Keep a stop loss above 603 for a drop towards 475 and 445.
Okay,
two sets of targets.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Is it more like a positional trade, or do you see this coming as soon as possible?
Yeah, it's more like a positional trade. You can take it as a series for the Feb series short trade.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on United Spirits. Thank you so much for that. Ines, what's your view on United Spirits?
Yeah, it's a short. I agree with Raja here, and it is facing strong resistance in this area. So you can go short, and you can expect a target up to 510.
510. So again, a short call that's coming in on United Spirits, and I think we should put the United Spirits, not McDowell Holdings. I think that's the wrong chart that we were putting. But Mehul, what's your view on United Spirits?
I have a different view on this stock. In fact, I feel that the stock has corrected 61.8% of its prior rally. So I would look for a buy in this stock above 560 level.
Okay.
So if it crosses 560, then I guess 600 to 620 levels could be through.
So at this level, you wouldn't short. You wouldn't trade at this level. Even if it goes above 560, that's the time you trade. Okay, fair enough. That's the view that's coming in on United Spirits. And the last stock, at least from a guess before I go back to Yash, is a bearish call on Britannia. I think we've had a lot of sell calls today, given the fact that despite the market moving up. Mehul, you can come in. Let's have the chart, Britannia, and it'll take time. Yeah, why are you bearish on it?
See, this rally, the entire rally on the daily chart, we feel that it has retraced 78.6% of this entire fall. Okay, and it is taking lots of resistance over here. At the same time, there is a pattern known as rising wedge pattern, which is a bearish one. It has even confirmed that pattern and given a breakdown. So at the same time, if you see the daily RSI has been gyrating in a range of this small range, and now we can confirm the breakdown of RSI on the daily chart, and RSI have also crossed the 50 levels on the downside. So we feel that the stock is off for a correction from here. So one can look for a sell in this stock on every rise from here.
No, you'll have to explain this a little in detail. What are these two red lines, that how have you made them, and what's the importance?
See, this is a rising wedge pattern. Okay. It's kind of channel, but it's converting channel. Okay, and a breakdown from this pattern could be very sharp. It generally happens when a fall comes and there is a pullback of that fall.
Okay.
So this pattern is normally being made like this only. And a breakdown could be very fast.
Okay, 3155, should someone short at this level?
Actually, we recommended the short near 3240 level. So one can wait for levels like 3200 or 3240, then short the stock with a stop loss of 3350 for a downside target of 3000 or below.
Okay, at this level not short, wait
for a bounce.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Ines, what's your view? And thank you so much for that, Mehul. Ines?
Yeah, I agree with him, but only thing is I would, I'm seeing 50 DEMA as a support here. So I would go short, and today it is trading weak also. So I would go short when it starts trading below 3100 for more momentum, and it can fall all the way down to 2950, that is 200 DEMA.
Okay, so that's a negative view again coming in. What's your view, Raja?
Yeah, according to my Ichimoku studies, the stock has come into good support. So I would be a contrarian here. I would actually look to buy at current levels with a stop loss below 3100 for an upside towards 3300.
Okay, so I think we have a contrarian view that's coming in. Two sell calls coming in on United Spirits, mostly positional call and sell on rally. But Raja has a contrarian view. He would be a buyer as per his Ichimoku studies. But lastly, before we wrap this show, let's go across to Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on Maruti this time around. So it's all autos today.
That's right, Darshan, and crucial levels to watch out when it comes to Maruti. And again, we are using the proprietary Bloomberg indicator, which is the trender indicator. The red line over here is the down line for the trender, and that is very close to the day's high for the stock. So the red line is at the mark of 7,173. The stock is currently trading at 71.25. Should it manage to close above this level, the trender would flip its color from red to green, and we've seen how sensitive the stock has been to the indicator. Every time that it has changed its color, it has gone on in that direction. It's worked brilliantly when it comes to the short trade, but also on the long side, it has worked brilliantly. And from these current levels, if it manages to close above 71.73, we could watch for an upside.
And what's the historical trend been?
Darshan, over the next 1 month, one could watch out for returns of close to 6.5%.
Okay, 6.5%, that's quite good. Thank you so much for that, Yash. Maruti, would you be a contrarian buyer?
No, I would be a contrarian sell actually. I would like to sell around 7,180 and keep a stop loss at 7,210. And I expect the stock to correct a bit and come down all the way up to, probably it can go to 6,650 also.
Okay, that's extremely weakness in Maruti. What about you, Raja?
Yeah, there is on the weekly chart, there is a positive divergence seen. There is an MACD crossover. So you can see some kind of sell being moving out. So you could have actually used the levels like 71, 73, which you mentioned, Yash mentioned, as a level as a trigger buy for an upside towards 7500.
Okay, what about you, Mehul? What's your view on Maruti?
Even I have a sell view on this stock. If at all this stock does not cross 7150 or 7200 levels, then it's an excellent risk reward ratio to go short with a stop loss of 7250. I feel that the bottom of 6500 could be retested in this stock if it doesn't cross 7200.
Okay, so levels of 7200 is something that we need to watch out very closely, because what Yash also indicated was a trender indicated it needs to close above a certain level for the color flip to actually happen. So right now, Bloomberg entry indicator does not indicate a buy, but if it goes above 7174, that's the level that you should start accumulating. But the other, Raja is quite bullish on it, but the other two guests are not that bullish on the counter. Before we wrap on the show, as we ask our guest, a quick view on the index. We'll ask our guest, NS, it's above 11,000 now. What should one do if someone is looking to take a position on the index?
I would go bullish only once it crosses 11,100, because I would like to keep a margin of safety on the, we have seen multiple time the stock has, index has given a false breakout and come down. So today it has given a very good move, but it needs to be followed up with good buying. So 11,100, if it crosses, then we look at 11,300.
Else you don't trade.
Till then don't trade. 11,000. 100, you can see 11,300 probably.
Okay, Raja, what's your view on the Nifty?
Yeah, you have been asking me this every time, and I'm saying that a closing above 11,000 is vital. And looking at the way Nifty is playing out, close above 11,000
On the spot.
records. Yeah, the spot. So once it happens, then 11,300, like Anas said, is definitely possible.
Okay, Mehul, what's your view on the Nifty?
I feel today's breakout, the momentum of today's breakout could take the Nifty towards 11,100, 150 odd levels. But 11,100 to 200 level is a crucial zone, resistance zone. I feel the heavyweights could start correcting after those levels. So one should keep in mind that they need to keep booking profits at higher levels, because this won't sustain at higher level.
Okay, you don't believe it will sustain at high level. Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on the Nifty. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Need to thank my guest, Mehul. Thank you so much for coming in. Raja, NS, thank you always for coming in. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.